nursing is not there,
Well,
and
that wouldn't matter, really, from membership point of view.
well, if y'all have a minute to do it, I'll tell you what they're gonna do.
See, the ANA does not honor or recognize in any way the School of Nursing affiliation.
Here's the letter that we had, which I brought to the board last time, and they go ahead and tell us about this new billing thing. It has had its initial distribution now in regards to this recruitment be involved campaign, and goes and tells you that state bylaws say that they shall be licensed, the School of Nursing, and no revocation and so forth. And they said a communication dated August 18th directed to the district nurses, so forth, omitted reference to the campaign to get the approval by the board of directors. A memo to this effect will be sent. Now here's what they tell us. Some district nurses have raised questions on the self-mailer concept of the ANA membership form. They think it'll expedite it. It is believed by these district nurses that it would be helpful to them in having the application returned by the potential member directly to the District Nurses Association for editing and recording of the application made. ANA is in agreement that district nurses wishing to review the application should have an opportunity to do so. It should be understood, however, that the District Nurses Association review may delay the processing of the application and thus add considerably to the time lapse between the potential member's application and her receipt of a dues notice from ANA. So then they tell us they have available some blank ones that can be sent to us if we want to use that instead, that they'll send us those. But
So the review is optional.
to them, they belittle the review altogether, in my estimation on it. Then they go into detail and tell us what has happened and what they have to do and how they process that on there and what you're going to get back. Now, I'm to order whatever you tell me you want. If you want an application form this size and let it come back to the district, we will do it. But in the meantime, they're going to prepare all their materials and sending it out with their dues notice about these self-mailers that people are going to be asking us about. At least that's my interpretation of it. We will not collect the money. ANA will bill them within 2 to 5 days after they get
See, from the ANA's point of view, they do not in any way honor the concerns about if this person is registered, can produce a registration number and a license number and so on, and the name of an employer. So far as the ANA is concerned, that produces eligibility for membership in the American Nurses Association. Now, ANA does not have the facilities for checking that registration number to determine whether or not, in fact, this person is a registered nurse.
No.
They're not assuming responsibility for that. So they hardly have the option of assuming total authority over this kind of accepting this as an application for membership in the ANA, and yet that's what they're really in effect doing.
What they did, they accept 110 5th District members last year, and I'm still trying to find out where some of those girls are registered. I have no knowledge whatsoever on there. I have combed the roster, I have called the state registration since then on every member, and it's delayed me in everything I've done. In fact, the one we talked about a while ago was put down as Michael Haney. It's really Madeline Lieberguth Haney, who married a Haney. Took 2 weeks to find her out. So that type to me absolutely destroys any record or any authority or any standard that we might like to maintain.
No credentials.
Now, if we put this in detail, see, this is what we distributed last year. We got about 4,000, giving our memberships exactly what they should do, and distribute the little statistical card which we used last year. That's how I made up your directory, that and verifying it later. Then we can go ahead and follow ANA. We might as well go ahead and try to adhere to what they're doing about the self-mailer. But in the meantime, we will have gotten the information we need for our records and for your membership and for your board to give approval.
I wonder if we then could appoint Miss Carolyn Atkins and the membership committee chair to work through this year to see what they can do about solving this problem. Give them the authorization to do so. I, as president, cannot make this motion,
I
however.
move that we do authorize
Second.
this.
Is that,
No, just a second, let them be the ones to approve the memberships, and then the board must ratify their action, because in your bylaws, the board approves of all
membership?
all applications for membership, you see. So if you're going to let them do it, then it must be brought to the board for ratification.
Then would you give me authorization to sign the self-mailer? I, in turn, would not mail one unless it meets the approval that we've been doing, and all of them will be approved by the membership committee at their regular meeting.
Right.
Is that,
It looks like to me what we need is another level, self-mailer back to us.
Yeah, we were just saying up here, if they
Just
carbon
put a
this,
carbon on this.
there wouldn't be any
If
problem.
he had put a carbon, if Mr. Hudson had just put a carbon on this, it would have been simple.
Now, we might be able to,
well, maybe at the convention down there, we'll have an opportunity to tell them something about it. We did last time, and we got them to give us a code. See, they tell you change, they didn't tell you it was a mistake on the computer, and you had 5 cards on you to every person last year. So that did eliminate that, if they put a code as to whether it was transferred, change of address, change of section, something.
if we had one of the blank ones and then could put our own, we'd have to pay the postage, so wouldn't we? That blank one, we could stamp with ours, and then they just have it sent, both our men. And
Then it wouldn't be a
after
separate-
she looked at it, then she could send it on. This seems to me very awkward.
Well, Carolyn, is it going to be as difficult to determine who has renewed membership as
No,
it was this time?
They'll be sending us, they'll send us a list every 2 weeks, up to date, of every member.
An up-to-date
Instead of a
list?
3x5 card that's hit and miss.
Well, you recall that there were checks sent out in December, we had
Well,
photostatic
that's why
copies
they
of them,
say-
and we
see,
didn't know
want
they
an
were
envelope
members
on
until
every
after
member.
May.
They want that envelope for every member to go to the computer.
Joanna?
Yes.
Does this say, Ms. Atkins and the membership committee review and work out a plan for accepting membership applications from A&A to present to the board?
Now that would, is that what we want to say?
So you want to give the membership committee and Ms. Atkins the authority to approve these membership applications with the board ratifying their action.
Oh, before they're sent to us. Oh, I
Okay.
see.
No, this is what is holding it up. This is the reason you're giving them the authority to go ahead and sign this, so they can get there.
Well, that's what I say,
Uh-huh.
you all can do it.
Then,
Then
when
we
the
have
board
to
meets, they'll ratify
Ratify
that.
their action.
Be given authority to sign membership,
Approval, or approval for
Approve the
membership.
membership application.
Instead of signing to approve.
Yeah.
Is that gonna mean the whole membership committee's
Well, I
gotta
think
sign it?
to work out the method, but I think they authorizing me to sign the application form.
Right.
well, I'm afraid Mr. Hudson's never had any kind of experience with this kind of stuff, and somebody didn't give him very much counsel on this. This should be a no carbon required duplicate, so that everybody that needs a copy of this could pull, theirs could be pulled and sent. All the A&A needs to do would be to pull off a piece of this and stick them in envelopes and send them back to us, you see.
But
See,
they
there's
gonna
an
keep a
NCR.
stub on there now of when one comes, so when they send it to the computer, they'll know exactly where that person is. That's one step toward eliminating the delays. Heretofore, they've turned it loose and they wouldn't even know for 2 weeks what had happened, but at least they're holding the stubs.
Who,
Let's move on now, selection of the bank. Oh, we need to take a vote on this.
You've actually taken vote on it when you get talking.
Mrs. Gilliard, would you read the motion as it stands?
Ms. Crawford moved that Ms. Atkins and the membership committee be given the authority to approve membership applications to be ratified by the board.
All those in favor? Opposed? We have been using the CNS Bank for the safe deposit box and the Atlanta Federal Savings. If there are no objections, I would consider using them again rather than move everything out.
And we moved our checking account last year. I don't know whether we got a chance to tell you about this, Miss Flynn, but it was moved for the first time after 10 or 15 years. And the services have been very well. The vice president has been over to see us and all courtesy.
No, we don't need a motion for this.
National Bank of Georgia, we moved it, last year, we had the motion to do it, but it took us about 2 or 3 months to get checks, cleared and new ones printed.
If there are no objections, we will use the same bank.
Is that the second, CNS?
CNS safe deposit box and the savings, Atlanta Federal Savings, and the checking account, National Bank.
Should spread it around.
Well, we should
That's
move our
good.
box, but let me tell you why. 2 reasons. It's paid up till May, so we didn't want to lose 6 months. And secondly, you don't have to wait on the elevator. We have to pay our income tax there. And then if we move it to the other bank, where they've been very nice to us, we've got to go up 4 flights, and there's always a bunch of people waiting there. And we know our box fits us now. It's easy to get to it.
I have 2 things that I'm rather concerned about right now. One is the governor's appointment to the state board. And I would like to know if there's any action we should take as the 5th district. Yeah.
I think it's too late. You mean something he's already done? Is that what you had
Yeah, he is
reference to?
appointed.
It's something I read said the 23rd of September. Can it be recalled?
I can tell you this, though, that what was in the paper is wrong, because at the board meeting, you know, they got the letter out, the GS&A, that they sent, those names are sent at one board for the next year, and he said they made an error and sent it to 1970. He didn't pull the file for the year before that was sent for this appointment, so that is wrong. He has the right, he has names for both years, and he just didn't look at them, period. Now, as parliamentarian of GS&A, I know that is, that was
Chairman,
sent.
I would, if it isn't too late to do something, I would move that, this board go, sorry, I shouldn't have started this till I knew what I was gonna say. I would move that we go on record, that we request the governor to rescind his appointment to the State Board of Nurse Examiners, appointment of Ms. Opal Fife to the State Board of Nurse Examiners for 3 reasons. 1, she is not a member of GS&A. 2, she was not on the list that was submitted to the governor. Well, 2 reasons, I can't think of the same. Oh, she is from the same school of nursing as Ms. Hudson.
coordinate any position taken on this with the State Nurses Association? Is there a position taken by the State Nurses Association on this?
That's the reason all this is coming out.
And what are we doing then, just endorsing their
You are
position?
Endorsing their action.
Yes.
The two letters is better than one.
Yeah, I
One
was
from
just
the district as well as
making sure
the
that we
state.
were in the same, do the same.
Now, do you want the president to write that?
I'd be happy to.
Well, is Ms. Hudson a member of the GSNA and now?
Not now.
No.
No. Well, would he, find a little, make an issue with us about that, reason for not wanting Miss Fyfe? That she's not a member of GSNA, Miss Hudson is.
He did not comply with the law that says that they must be members of state nursing. That they must be appointed from the list of state nursing.
But when Miss Hudson was appointed, she was a member
She was at that
at
time.
the time that she
Is
was
she not a
appointed.
member now?
But the fact that she's not a member now doesn't disqualify for her for remaining.
Well, this was a question that I asked someone, and they said they didn't know about this.
Well, somebody ought to find out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think this is an important point, you know, if you leave the state, should you continue on the State Board of Examiners? I think this is a real
I
valid
think it's a
question.
very good question. Is Miss Jones still on the, is she still on the board?
She wasn't on the board.
Because I called over there about a week ago and I was told she was no longer there. At least that's what I understood.
She's not there, but she wasn't a board member, she's the director of education.
Is she still educational
Well,
director?
she was always answering all the questions.
We need to vote on Mrs. Armstrong's motion. Do you all know?
A question
Yes, ma'am.
before I finish this. If I don't say the Fifth District GSNA Board of Directors, then this will have to go to, if I just say Fifth District GSNA, won't it have to go to the,
To the membership.
so I'll have to put Board of Directors.
Now you're on. She went
Well-
to University of Georgia later when her diploma school was joining as nursing.
The explanation that came out in the mail was that she had also attended the Medical College of Georgia, and this was also her school. Who
I
seconded
think
the
2-3
motion?
people there.
I think there's several seconded.
All of those in favor of this one?
Aye.
Opposed?
Not that I think it'll do any good with those characters, but
I
let's
don't
make
think
it.
it's
We need a motion for the
At least
letter.
be on record.
To be
Let's make it.
Well, this is for the letter.
That's for the letter too. One.
You know, it wouldn't, if we cleared that, it wouldn't hurt if individuals did the same thing. Write a letter or make it as strong as possible. Bombard him with telegrams.
GSNA did get the lawyer, their lawyer, to help with the letter, you see, and that's the reason that in fact, he wrote the letter on GSNA.
Have they had a response from it?
Apparently, quite a bit.
No, I mean the GSNA.
Yes, they've had some, and it was what it was, that they, not the, one, list was not sent in, it was dated 1970, you see, which was the list for next year.
They got on paper, it was real.
And, this is the kind of thing that, he's trying to get wiggle out. Of course, the whole point, the big point is that he violated the law and appointed.
Oh, yes.
our land.
It's not possible to get any correction in the newspaper to show that, see, this sounds like, and people on our staff have said somebody, slipped up. But if you're telling me they did not slip up, then it ought to be publicized.
Ms. Armstrong was at that board and so was Ms. Langford.
Well,
and
I
they
know you're
that
right,
those-
honey, but I'm just thinking, wouldn't
those
it be good
things-
for the general
But you
public
see,
to know that?
this is what he said to the
Yeah.
reporter, that they would pick
Yeah.
up and wouldn't listen to what you had to say, because that doesn't make news. What he said is news.
What about the action line? Is that a,
Action
yeah,
line. Oh,
good?
That'd be good.
Oh,
Put it
that's
in there.
really getting business, action.
You know, a lot of people read that.
Well, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get my hands off
Where's our
Lady gets in there every day.
Yeah, somebody was wanting to put Action Line out of business. So I can see why.
Can't we get it in action line?
You would, here again, you would have to have the authority of the board to do that.
I move then that we give you the authority to give the information to action line.
Are you gonna meet me when they tar and feather me down?
We'll be right there.
Legal counsel on that.
Send Action Line a copy of the letter that you sent to the governor.
Well, that wouldn't
An
be
excerpt.
too much.
With a
See,
question.
that wouldn't show that he was.
Okay, I will do this
Who seconded?
Something.
immediately.
Who seconded Mrs. Lott's?
We'll go together, Miss Jackson.
Who seconded Mrs. Lott's motion?
Not that last one, nobody did, I don't think.
I don't think
Action
anybody
line.
did yet.
Don't think she's
I
made a
leave it
motion.
up to our president discretion.
Is this, do I have the authority of the board to do this?
What, to put in action line?
What about the letters
To the editor.
I have letters to the editors.
That would probably, they read those too. Our letters to them.
Yeah, send a copy of the letter to the editor. That actually is a better.
Action
is a
line
more
would get
professional
some
way to do it.
results.
Well, what's the
Rescinding
difference between sending a
possibly.
letter to the editor and just writing to action line?
I think more people really read action.
Oh, I know they
Because
do.
You can't
I-
say enough in
Which,
action.
in Action Line, you've got to ask them to do something, and they're really not in a position
To
to
do this.
Governor rescind.
put in jail for violating the law.
What's your pleasure?
Why not
What-
both? Action line and letter to the editor.
I think the copy of the letter to the.
Well, we have
should be done.
two suggestions here. One is action line and one is letter to the editor.
What would you be asking action line? What would you be doing? What would you be
Well, see, the more we talk about this, I'm sort of concerned about action line because
So am I.
of,
The governor.
it's the governor.
It's like getting the rocks out the street, and getting the
I
sewers.
think we should give him a little respect, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Backed up
talking about.
things of
After
this
all,
sort.
we're a dignified organization.
I think the letter to the editor would be a burr under his saddle, and the other one might be a nail in his saddle, which might hurt us more than it did him.
And we need all the support we can get at this point.
He gave us $50,000 for a study on nursing.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Want me to read this and see if this is what we talked about? That our chairman be instructed to write a letter to the editor of the Atlanta newspapers in regard to the recent appointment to the Board of Examiners of Nursing. That, you want me to put in here, giving the facts regarding the recent appointment? Well, the recent appointment, see, and that's the most recent appointment.
It would be the most recent.
Recent appointment.
Is there a second?
No, she was not the only one appointed at that time.
Supervisor H was reappointed.
That's right.
All right, but
Well, I thought,
Was she on the list?
recent new appointment, she was,
The other one?
recent
Supervisor,
new
yeah.
appointment.
She was
she
reappointed.
was not on the list that I voted for.
That's for this year, but that's for.
These are some-
71.
Well, let's just say to the appointment of Mrs. Opal Spike then.
be better, that's specific.
FYFFE.
All in favor?
Well, who else,
Good.
who seconded?
We are hosting the clinical sessions November 4th, 5th, and 5th. And we are also hosting the GSNA convention, which are October 15th and 16th.
17th and 18th. Can I say a little something? I happen to be chairman of the committee on advanced registration, and everybody's had a letter, but what I'd like to ask you now is, as you see people, talk with people, if they would exercise and send back this advanced registration, it sure would save time at the convention, because I will already have set up by that time. All you have to do is sign in the book, and I'll hand you a little envelope. It'll have your tickets in it and your receipt and the registration card. And I do hope we will make this one of the biggest we've had. I think the programs are good. We're going to have, many of you know, Mr. Luther Christman, the Dean of the School of Nursing at Vanderbilt University, and if you've ever been to a convention, you know him. I mean, the ANA convention, because he's up on the floor every 5 minutes. He's kind of I think, kind of a controversial figure that you won't go to sleep on him, that's for sure. And he's going to be one of the speakers. And then we're going to have clinical sessions. We're going to have a man from the labor department as one of the speakers. We're going to have Miss Greeno as our Greeno. Is that the way she?
Tony Guarino, Carmelo?
Greeno as our ANA representative. And also Miss Scott is going to be here, who's at the American Journal of Nursing. So talk up the convention and come and have a good time. And we're going to have a social hour, and we're going to have tour Underground Atlanta.
I went down there, I might tell you, you don't know about it, but I spent Friday down there nearly. I got this little worksheet from A&A, and we were supposed to supply a coffee break for how many thousand, I don't know, they say a minimum 1,000, sometimes 3,000 or 4,000. They only have 30 minutes on the first day, and the next day they have 2 breaks of 30 minutes. And I've been trying to find out how you can feed that many people coffee and donuts. And A&A, we had called them earlier, and she said that they did not want to, I think you ought to know this, use your resources on elaborate, expensive undertaking regarding hospitality. If you would like to furnish refreshments as coffee, cokes, or donuts at some time during the conference, that'd be most welcome. And we will have a hospitality booth at the conference there. And we have been promised coffee from Coca-Cola if we can get them to serve it, that they would cater it for us. And we've been promised help from the Atlanta Bottling Company on whatever refreshments. And I went to Rich's at Ann Poland. They had offered us a tea, so we hope that they'll offer us donuts instead. But we did have that. And,
We really don't need to have donuts, you know. That's that clinical sessions, isn't it?
That's right.
I don't really think we ought to have anything but coffee and cokes, because
well, we can get those. We know.
I don't see any point at all in us going to the expense and bother of
Well,
getting donuts.
we hadn't planned to go to any expense. If Rich's will get them to us. They offered us a tea.
Well, they might give us, they might give us something, some kind of things, but I would, we've quit putting anything like that out between meals at SREB, because people don't eat it very much, and most people
There's one thing I haven't had time to tell the new president about, and that's about the Mary Mahoney Award. I got a letter Friday wanting me to contact Ms. Luther King, if they wanted her to be on the judging panel, and if the 5th District is to send in nominee for this, it has to be in by the first of the year. And we will not have another board meeting until January. So, well, November, that's right, yes, we do.
Before the
Well, be
program.
thinking about it for November. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about that friendship dinner that we might have in November. I'm just working ahead of time, but anyhow, we still have time for that then.
I hope you are all most appreciative of all the people who've been working so real hard on both these affairs coming up in October and November. An awful lot of work is being done behind the scenes, and I hope many members of the 5th District can attend both meetings.
Are we gonna have, you're gonna make hostess, give us hostess badges for the clinical sessions?
We haven't gotten that far. Miss Pope is chairman.
Oh, is she?
And she had one meeting, we happened to be at the printers at the other place, so we didn't get to go. The only reason I'm into it this way is because Coca-Cola people offered us these things and you couldn't turn it down.
Well, I think it's good.
So I don't know what they plan to
It
do.
wouldn't be fit for them to come to Atlanta and not have Coke.
No, sure won't.
Well, they're gonna have 6,000 here next month, October 15th, all that franchise from all over the world of Coca-Cola. So I think they'll help us.
I think so. There's one other announcement that you all might want to put on your calendar. Thursday, November 20th, the Georgia Mental Health Institute is having the 3rd nursing conference, which is sponsored by the Metropolitan Atlanta Congenital Defects Program. So this might be something you want to consider, Ms. Crawford, for your program committee. They are having this program, and it
What
will
is it?
November 20th, and it's an all-day program.
Georgia Mental Health Institute.
Right. The topic of congenital defects, which will be held at the Georgia Mental Health Institute. The program is designed specifically for nurse practitioners and educators involved with this problem in the 5-county metropolitan area.
The calendar says Richmond that day, but let's see.
And is there any other new business?
I just wanted to ask anybody, who is Elizabeth Peacock? You're Barbara Peacock. Huh?
Yes, ma'am, that wouldn't be me.
Elizabeth Peacock. I wrote Elizabeth down and does anybody know anybody named Elizabeth?
Is this
Well,
for
I
your
think
committee?
that was from my list because Barbara Peacock is the one on our
Yeah, it is
list.
Barbara.
So to all practical purposes, there is no Elizabeth.
Not here.
Elizabeth Langford, did you get Elizabeth Langford on there? Well, I might have just written. Yes, I got Elizabeth Langford.
And Elizabeth Lang.
Well, all of you know Miss Crawford, don't you? She's a new member here, or do we have any other new members that have not been? Ms. Gilday is a new member of the board for.
Mrs. McGee, Rose
That's
McGee.
right. And Miss, Stanley's been a member
Stanley.
before. She's back.
How about a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Rise.
Sister, I'll be by to see you sometime tomorrow, if you don't mind. Sign those signatures. Thank you, ma'am.
Do you need